Good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome to the First Religious Society, Unitarian Universalist in Newburyport. My name is Jessica Brown. I'm delighted to be your worship associate on this New Year's morning, along with my fellow worship associate, the Reverend Jane Toohey. We come together as a church community committed to peace, love, and justice. Our mission and our invitation to each of you is to come as you are, journey together in love, act with courage, and transform our world. If you're visiting today or joining us for the first time, welcome. We are so glad you're here. If you're joining us online and you'd like to access this morning's order of service, you'll find a link in the video description just below the live stream. And this morning we have a very special service. It's a beloved annual tradition, and we are just delighted to welcome Zack Field back to our sanctuary to once again lead our annual Gong meditation service. Zack is the director and proprietor of the music studio Zack Field Drums and Music, located at the Tannery in Newburyport and also at the Trades Mill in Amesbury. You can find a detailed bio for Zack in the order of service. But what I do want to share is Zack's story of having about a decade ago started something that he calls the Gong Meditation Project as a means of helping himself and others find ways to escape from the everyday stresses of life. And after years of practicing silent meditation, Zack found that playing soothing pitched gongs enhanced the meditation process by helping to distract the mind and encouraging a relaxed state. And for those of you who have participated in one of Zack's gong meditations, whether here at FRS or elsewhere, I know you'll surely agree. Thank you. It is good to be together.
Our call to worship this morning is based on a blessing by the Irish poet and philosopher John O'Donoghue, and it is entitled, For a New Beginning. In the out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time it watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside of you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave that which you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises of sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, and wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dreams, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be at home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses that the world awaits you. Let us worship together. Please join in saying our chalice lighting words as Jessica lights the chalice. The words are printed in your order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Each week we also light 2 candles apiece, representing 2 places on earth we lift up and remember sacred encounters with our world. There are untold numbers of places on earth that need peace. These 2 we especially hold close during the service and throughout the week. After each candle is lit, I will invite you to respond by saying peace, soul, shalom. Our first candle is lit for the city of Buffalo and the region of western New York, which faced deadly storms in the last week. And now, as rebuilding efforts begin, they are faced with potential flooding from rising temperatures. We pray for the safety of the people of Buffalo and that they receive the support they need to face these challenges. Our second candle is lit for the city of Newburyport. May we find ways in 2023 to make our beautiful city more welcoming, more affordable, and build towards a more diverse and multicultural community. To this we respond, peace, soul, shalom. Please rise now in body and spirit and join together in our first hymn, number 88, Winds Be Still. If you are joining online, the words and music can be found in the hymn document below the live stream. Oh, it's sorry, it's number 83.
83. Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Peace grace this time with
Please remain standing as we join our voices in our affirmation of faith, followed by the doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow together with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
This is the time in our service when the offering will be gratefully received. The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of the church, both in Newburyport and beyond. And each week, one half of the Sunday offering that's not designated as a pledge goes to a local community partner engaged in important efforts to transform our region. The January shared collection will support the Community Services of Newburyport's Campership program. This organization provides support to the Newburyport community through many programs, including clothing, emergency relief, and referral services, and a food pantry for people in need. And in the summer, their Campership program provides 2 weeks of summer camp for children from the Newburyport area. If you'd like to give online, you can use the link in your order of service or below the live stream. You can also make a contribution by text, and of course, you can always mail a check to the church. Thank you. The offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you, Gina. We have 2 readings, after which we will enter into the meditation led by Zack. The first reading comes from the novel All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and in this excerpt, the young Marie-Laure, who has recently lost her vision, is learning to perceive the world through her other senses. Here she is exploring the Museum of Natural History, where her father works as its principal locksmith. In the afternoon, he takes her on his rounds. He oils latches, repairs cabinets, polishes escutcheons. He leads her down hallway after hallway, into gallery after gallery. Narrow corridors open into immense libraries. Glass doors give way to hothouses overflowing with the smells of humus, wet newspaper, and lobelia. There are carpenter shops, taxidermist studios, acres of shelves and specimen drawers, whole museums within the museum. Some afternoons, he leaves Marie-Laure in the laboratory of Dr. Giffard, an aging mollusk scientist whose beard smells permanently of damp wool. Dr. Giffard will stop whatever he is doing and open a bottle of Malbec and tell Marie-Laure in his whispery voice about reefs he visited as a young man: the Seychelles, Belize, Zanzibar. He calls her Lorette. He eats a roasted duck every day at 3 p.m. His mind accommodates a seemingly inexhaustible catalog of Latin binomial names. On the back wall of Dr. Giffard's lab are cabinets that contain more drawers than she can count, and he lets her open them one after another and hold seashells in her hands. Whelks, olives, imperial volutes from Thailand, spider conchs from Polynesia. The museum possesses more than 10,000 specimens, over half the known species in the world, and Marie-Laure gets to handle most of them. Now that shell, Lorette, belonged to a violet sea snail, a blind snail that lives its whole life on the surface of the sea. As soon as it is released into the ocean, it agitates the water to make bubbles and binds those bubbles with mucus and builds a raft. Then it blows around, feeding on whatever floating aquatic invertebrates it encounters. But if it ever loses its raft, it will sink and die. A Carinarius shell is simultaneously light and heavy, hard and soft, smooth and rough. The murex Dr. Giffard keeps on his desk can entertain her for half an hour. The hollow spines, the ridged whorls, the deep entrance. It's a forest of spikes and caves and textures. It's a kingdom. Her hands move ceaselessly, gathering, probing, testing. The breast feathers of a stuffed and mounted chickadee are impossibly soft, its beak as sharp as a needle. The pollen at the tips of tulip anthers is not so much powder as it is tiny balls of oil. To really touch something, she is learning. The bark of a sycamore tree in the gardens, a pinned stag beetle in the Department of Entomology, the exquisitely polished interior of a scallop shell in Dr. Giffard's workshop is to love it. The second reading is the poem Guidelines by Rina Espaillat. Here's what you need to do since time began. Find something diamond rare or carbon cheap. It's all the same, and love it all you can. It should be something close, a field, a man, a line of verse, a mouth, a child asleep, that feels like the world's heart since time began. Don't measure much or lay things out or scan. Don't save yourself for later. You won't keep. Spend yourself now on loving all that you can. It's going to hurt. That was the risk you ran with your first breath. You knew the price was steep. That loss is what there is since time began, subtracting from your balance. That's the plan. Too late to quibble now. You're in too deep. Just love what you still have while you still can. Don't count on schemes, it's far too short a span. From the first sowing till they come to reap, one way alone to count since time began. Love something, love it hard, now, while you can.
Morning. Everybody hear me all right? For those who haven't met, my name is, or haven't met me yet, my name is Zack Field, and I'm here to play some gongs for you today. Yes. If you've experienced this before, you know what to expect. If you haven't, I'll give a little background. I do tell a similar story every year, but I think it's important to set this up. So for those who have heard this, I hope you still like this story. I'll make it quick, and then we'll get to the gongs. I teach drums. That's what I do. I get to teach drums every day. It's awesome. Play drums, and I always go to this big conference in Indianapolis every year called Percussive Art Society International Convention. It's the world's largest drum conference. It's like the best 5 days of my year. It's great. And you get to see all these great drummers, percussionists give clinics, and then there are all the big companies are there, cymbal companies, drum companies, and so I always come back with something. One year I ordered $20,000 worth of steel drums. And this year it's not as expensive, but I bought a bunch of gongs. This was in 2010. And I've got them all pitched, kind of pentatonic-y scales for those who know music. And at the time when I bought these, I taught at the Pentucket School Districts running percussion ensembles, 4th grade through 12th grade. And if you've met drummers, they're a little crazy, right? And if you've met middle school drummers, they're really crazy, okay? So I did this. I would record these and listen to them myself and see what worked, what didn't work. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So now let's experiment a little bit. So I brought these into my middle school percussion ensemble, and at the time, we would rehearse after school, right? So middle schoolers after school is kind of a nightmare. Middle school drummers after school is a real big nightmare, right? But they're amazing. I love them. And so at the end of this rehearsal, around 4 o'clock, 3:50-ish, when they're getting ready to get picked up, I said, hey guys, there's probably 15 or so of these 7th and 8th graders. I said, I'm gonna try something here, right? I'm gonna play these gongs, and they're all laughing, and I'm like, oh, come on, stop, will you stop? Be quiet. I said, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna relax. And they're like, wiggling around, and so I just started playing these, and the next thing you know, it was silent. They melted in their chairs, and when I stopped, they are all still sitting there, eyes closed, still not moving. I will never, ever forget that moment. It was incredible. So I was like, wow, this is sweet. They'd never experienced it, And what I always say is, like, I had to say, like, all right, guys, let's get going. You need to leave. And I was thinking, like, what are these parents going to think of what I did to their kids? Did I give them, like, drugs or something? So that's kind of how it started. And so I just play these. I'm able to relax myself when I'm doing it. That's a common question. It's fun for me. I'm just making music, and it happens to be relaxing. I'll go to schools and do it. I do it at yoga studios. It's just really fun for me. I like to share it with people. I'm just going to back away. Can you hear me all right? Okay. So last thing I want to say is what to expect here is, people freak out when you say meditation, right? You have these expectations of it needs to be something. It doesn't, and you're never going to stop your mind from thinking. It's impossible, right? And so what I ask of you right now is just do your best. Just sit and relax, and don't beat yourself up if thoughts come into your head. I mean, aren't we hard enough on ourselves already? So just sit here, relax, close your eyes, do whatever you want. I'll play these gongs. It'll never be so loud that it's going to startle you at all. And it's just a time to be still. And it's not always that easy, but I give you permission right now to just be here. Who cares what you got to do after this? You can't do anything about it right now. Who cares that we got to go to work in a couple days, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, just relax. And I think this is like 10 or 11 years. Where's Jay? Where's Jay? Oh, yeah. Well, Jay brought me in here years ago to do this, and for those who've been coming, they're like, what the heck is this gong thing? And I'm so grateful. I look forward to it every year. I'm done talking. Thanks for having me. So it'll be 20 minutes, but it will feel like 5 minutes. I promise you. And at the very end, you'll know that we're done. I have these little finger cymbals. You'll hear 3 gentle dings, and we'll all come to, hopefully. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Zach. What a wonderful gift. What a wonderful way to start this new year. Thank you. Please join us now in singing our closing hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life.
Please remain standing and join in saying our unison benediction as the chalice is extinguished. The words are in our order of service. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always.
Our final blessing today is also from the Irish poet John O'Donoghue. As we go out into this new day, in this new year, may you have the courage, may we all have the courage to live the lives that we would love to lead, to postpone our dreams no longer, but to do at last what we have come here to do, and waste our hearts on fear no longer. May it be so. Go in peace. Come back with great joy.